I'm Tolulope Ogunjobi. Now, the federal government says it is working towards delivering 3.4 billion standard cubic feet of gas per day to bridge the medium-term supply gap by 2020. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachiku, stated this at the 2018 convocation of the Petroleum Training Institute in Delta State. According to the minister, the federal government will invest in 7 critical gas development projects to achieve the goal by 2020. Kachiku said the federal government is increasing attention to the eradication of gas flaring, utilization and monetization of the abundant gas resources of the country. 2 out of the 38 approved modular refineries would be commissioned by December 2018 to boost fuel supply in the country. The Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria has called on the central bank to enhance the operations of its live exchange rate website. The association disclosed this in its economic review for the 3rd quarter this year, noting that daily publication of exchange rates on its website has helped appreciation and stability of the naira in the BDC segment of the economy. Well, the currency dealers say this will improve transparency and stability in the country's foreign exchange market. According to APCON's website, the naira appreciated by 50 kobo to 359.5 naira per dollar in the BDC segment in the 3rd quarter, from 360 naira per dollar in the 2nd quarter this year. Nigerian Agricultural Exporters Group has called on government to support private sector operations to boost foreign exchange earnings for the government. This was made known by the national coordinator of the group, Join Okwaku, during the maiden Nigerian Agricultural Exporters Group Summit, with theme confronting Nigeria's poor agricultural export activities and logistics problems. The challenges and way forward, Okwaku says, favorable public policies and support to the private sector can increase the volume of agriculture-based exports from Nigeria. He added that the country's agricultural industry needs to be repositioned as it is a leading contributor to the country's gross domestic product and foreign exchange earnings. Now, the central bank says the country's foreign reserves will continue to decline. Reports from the CBN shows that external reserves now stands at $42.34 billion. That's as of October the 25th this year, against $47.28 billion recorded in July this year. Now, this reserve dropped by $4.94 billion within the period of 3 months, despite International Monetary Fund's warning that Nigeria should be cautious on the use of its foreign exchange reserves because of the imminent decline in oil prices. The IMF's head European Department, Anil Lina, says the economy of Nigeria and other emerging markets have been affected by the sharp appreciation of dollars, rising interest rates in the US, and dwindling oil prices, and others. Now, in a bid to reduce the high level of unemployment and, of course, harness Nigeria's youth demography through appropriate skills development, the federal government introduced the N-Power program. The N-Power scheme is under the Social Investment Program for job creation and empowerment initiatives. It is designed to reduce unemployment by helping youth to create jobs and engage them in activities while unemployed. The N-Power program has different categories. Well, to put this into perspective, I have the Senior Special Advisor to the President on Job Creation, Afolabi Mokede, joins me live from our Abuja studios. It's great to have you join us, Mr. Afolabi.
Thanks, Tolu. Hi, how are you? Always a pleasure.
Yeah, well, let's start with N-Power now. Let's start, generally, what would you say has been the impact of this process on Nigerians? Let's start that way.
Well, firstly, let me say that the Social Investment Program is one of our interventions to stem the issue about unemployment, primarily the demography for the youths. You would recall Mr. President and Vice President, then as candidates in 2014, specifically made a promise to tackle unemployment, and especially youth unemployment, if and when voted into office. And since assumption, we've taken many strides at looking really at the economy to unlock the economy for job creation. One thing is very clear. The strategy of this administration, the Muhammadu Buhari administration for jobs, is being that it will be private sector-led, government enabling. In other words, focus has really been about creating an enabling environment for jobs and the economy to thrive. And that we've achieved, or that we work towards daily to actualize through the various platforms, chief of it being the Presidential Enabling Business Council, which is PEBEC, which is chaired by Mr. Vice President, has a few ministers in it, and also has a coordinating secretariat in the NIPC that is anchored by another colleague of mine, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole. In addition to that, we have the MSME Clinic, which is a platform that tends to address entrepreneurship, micro, small businesses, you know, and alongside all other interventions. But whilst we work on this, one thing is clear, that interacting with the economy is something that takes time. And so we knew that we needed to intervene with some direct federal government investment. And that's what the Empower is under the National Social Investment Program. This is a program that right now invests 15 billion directly in each of the 500,000 Empower volunteers across the 36 states, inclusive of FCT, and also the 774 local governments across Nigeria. You will recall that we launched them in 2 batches. The first batch was 200,000, which have been in the program now for 21 months. Precisely, they got into the program since December 2016, and have continued to earn average of 30,000 stipends as they volunteer of their service as teaching assistants in our public primary schools, health extension assistants in the primary health care centers, and agric advisors in the various agric development programs across Nigeria. And most recently, we also have a few of them that actually also volunteer as community tax liaison officers under direct supervision of the Federal Ministry of Finance and the Joint Tax Board. And so 200,000 since December, they end directly before the advent of the 300,000 in August this year. That's been a whopping 6 billion investment every month, goes directly to each of these beneficiaries because we pay them directly through their bank accounts. We do not pay through any third party. And now since August, it's been 15 billion. Now, such is the investment, the direct investment that Mr. President makes in the area of our youth. Aside from that, they also have a tablet that turns them into digital army, really. A tablet that is not only their learning tool, it's also their work tool, and it's also their entrepreneurship tool, because I can tell you that a lot of them have become mobile money agents. A lot of them have been engaged as enrollment agents for a lot of data aggregation. And for each and every one of these, they earn extra income aside from whatever it is that they earn officially from the Empower program. Aside from the graduate program, which is 500,000, we have in addition 20,000 are currently across country. That picture you've been showing is a picture from Enugu in May when we formally launched the non-graduate component of Empower. And that's the M-Build program that's actually focused on reviving our apprenticeship culture in the vocational sphere. And the vocational there, we have them across across construction, about 6 trades in construction industry and agriculture. Very recently, with the 2018 budget that we're getting ready to open the portal next month for the rounds of application again for the non-graduate component, we will be including the hospitality sector in that. And so 20,000 are currently, as you see some of them in that picture, are currently all across Nigeria right now. We've also just recently, last week, commenced the mobilization of another non-graduate component, which is in the technology, device repair and maintenance, which we call the NTech hardware. We have 4,000 of them currently mobilized across 4 geopolitical zones. Kano for Northwest, Mina for North Central. I know that Owerri for Southeast, and Yola for Northeast. They have been mobilized, 1,000 per geopolitical zone. The remaining South, South, and Southwest, the training service providers just got awarded a few weeks ago, so we're hopeful that we'll be able to mobilize those ones by January. So that tells you about 24,000. Another and the last component of our non-graduate component program, which is the Empower Creative, which focuses really on training a lot of our youth around illustration, graphics, animation, really raising up a whole array of youths in these emerging trends that can really become a pool of youth for outsourcing, global outsourcing, I must say. We will commence that in the third week of November with about, I think about 3,000 of them will be mobilized across country as well, in 2 locations, northern location and southern location, training them. So that's really what we've done directly. And this is very much aside from all the other agencies of government. SMEDAN that continues to train for entrepreneurship, NDE that continues to train
now
for
Mr. Falabi,
and entrepreneurship.
Okay, Mr. Falabi, before we go into other sectors now, beautiful figures there. Let's look at the transparency of this process. How has it been? Because, you know, many could always sit down and say, maybe it could be some politically motivated, maybe some people. So how do we really get, or how do you get Nigerians to key into this scheme? How has it been?
Well, so this is one scheme, and I'll take the words of the beneficiaries themselves. This is one scheme where the beneficiaries themselves have alluded to perhaps be the most transparent program of any government at all. And the reason is this. Each and every one of them gets an equal chance. They apply for the graduates program and even the non-graduate program. They apply through the Empower portal. The application period, when it's open, we inform. And just like we're getting ready to open for the NBIL non-graduate component, and if you're all over social media since this morning, we started making the announcement that the portal will open next week, Monday. And so that's what it is. Everyone gets an equal chance. In the first batch of the 200,000, we have 350,000 applications, from which you pick the 200,000. They need not know anybody at all. This is one program where common Nigerian, as you know, Mr. President and Vice are really 2 men in Nigeria that you can say that they're about the masses. These are the presidents for the masses. And that's really what we've done with the Empower program. It's something that celebrates the ethos of merit, the ethos of transparency, the ethos of inclusion. In the 300,000 batch, when the application portal opened last year, the 2017, it was 2.5 million applications. After cleaning and validation, we had 1.8 million, from which we've selected 300,000. And even those who were not selected, we have them in active database. We are always reaching out to them when we have other opportunities to engage them in, and that we will continue to do. So this is one program, contrary to what some cynics will want Nigerians to believe. It is a program that is not in any way controlled by any political demigod of any sort. Yes, it is a political program. It is a program of political promise. But every state in Nigeria, regardless of your party affiliation, would agree publicly and otherwise that this is one program that we have deployed across all states, regardless of political affiliation. It may please you to note that in the 2016 batch, the highest number of volunteers went to Rivers State. And that is not an APC state the last time I checked. So that's really the merit of this program. It is a developmental program, and being developmental, the president always reminds us that he is the president of Nigeria and all Nigerians, regardless of party affiliation.
Quantum of investments now, let's look at it in figures and looking at the economic benefits and, of this social investment. How would you highlight the benefits to the Nigerian economy in totality?
Now, so, and that's a great question, Tolu, and thank you for that. To give proper context and justice to my answers, let's understand that the National Social Investment Program, let me run through the 5 components. I've spoken about Empower, which is one. The second component is the National Homegrown School Feeding Program, where we are feeding over 9 million kids across country in 26 states at the public primary schools between primary 1 to 3. And we have already, by virtue of that, engaged over 100,000 cooks in 26 states that cook this food. And I can tell you the tons of opportunities have opened up to our rural farmers, because the design of the program is that we must buy what those communities grow and feed them with the food from the farmers. So the farmers benefit, our rural women benefit as cooks, and our children in primary 1 to skill the benefit. That's over 9 million children, over 100,000 cooks, and each is on an average of 17 naira per day per meal. So you can calculate what that is on a weekly basis times 9 million. That's a quantum of investment. Then I cross over to the Government Enterprise Empowerment Program, which is the one that really assists with loans for market women, artisans, even our traders, the petty traders. We have them across board. There's the trader money, which is 10,000 loans to micro, small petty trader, wherein we have disbursed to close to 500,000 since we launched this program in about 2 or 3 months ago across country. And the target is about 2 million of these beneficiaries will get that quantum of 10 million naira. You can do the math yourself as a business editor or business journalist. In the Jeep program, same. We've disbursed to over 300,000. I think about 400,000 beneficiaries of the program. These ones, they come together through their cooperatives. That's market money loan, and that one is about 50,000. About 50,000 naira loans go to them. So in other words, you're at least a middle class trader of sorts. And farmer money goes to farmers across states as well. The last but not the least, I must speak about the cash transfer, wherein we give 5,000 to the poor of the poor, the poorest of the poorest households across country. Again, this is one program working with the World Bank. They work with us with the proxy test, to determine the poor of the poorest across our countries, and the monies go to them direct. As well, in communities where there are no banks for them, we have more mobile agents that go to make the payments. And so that's to tell you, whilst the appropriation has been 500 billion in the first year and 400 billion in the 2017 budget, 900 billion in total, we know we have not drawn down on the total, but at least so far we have drawn down about 250 billion in impacting directly in over 10 million Nigerian citizens across country. I can tell you for a fact that Empower, like I said, for the last 20 months, 6 billion every month go to our beneficiaries, and in the last 2-3 months now, that number has moved over to 15 billion. And that's aside also the asset finance that we have with Bank of Industry for their devices for each of the first set of the 200,000 beneficiaries.
So Falabi, I think to also be interested in the vocational aspect of it, where you talked about, I think this could help bridge the gap. At least you would agree with me that a gap exists in that aspect of the Nigerian economy, talking about filling in vocational education and all of that. We don't even have workers anymore. So how has that very part of the scheme, how has it fared?
Thank you, and you're so true, and that's the reason why the non-graduate program was designed as a direct response to the gaps that we have in the artisanal level. And that's why when we started, we didn't just roll out the social investment or the job creation component of social investment without doing a strategy. I must say that in the beginning of this administration in 2015, we actually did have strategy, and we had a lot of focus groups. And the issue of skills competence was something that every industry, every priority industry of government, be it agriculture, be it construction, be it renewable energy, any mining, all the sectors that are key sectors in our economic growth recovery plan, ERGP, really spoke about the issue of skills. And that's why in attacking the non-graduate program, I must say to you that our target really was 75,000 every year. But as you also know, when we got into government very recently, as we assumed office, the recession hit. And in the reality of the recession, but the commitment of Mr. President and Vice President to this program is the reason why we continued, regardless of the fact that we were earning way less. We earned 60% way less, but we have done much more, even inclusive of this ambitious program that we have rolled out. And so we then reduced our numbers to 20,000. And so what we did was to target it to needs of industry. And that's why you heard me talk about construction industry that work with us to ensure that we define the competencies that these trainees will be trained on beyond the 3 months in-center training. Let me also mention that the Council for Registered Builders of Nigeria, COBON, and the National Automotive Design and Development Council, NADDC, for the automobile, they worked with us with the MOU we have with them to define the competencies, to define the curriculum, and the training manuals that we developed together to train them. And they also then gave us a list of relevant startup toolkits that we also provided. So on average, for each of these 20,000, on average is 250,000 naira investment for each of them that the government used in procuring their toolkits. And in addition to that, they also earn a transport stipend of 10,000 naira monthly for 1 year, because they are in the training center for 3 months, and then they move on for 9 months apprenticeship across various employers across the country.
Well, Mr. Falabi Mokede, I know you can go on and on, but that's what time can take for now. Thank you very much for giving us insights to all of this efforts, talking about economic and social investment programs by this administration. I'm sure we will have another time to talk more on this very important topic. Thank you for joining us on Business Nigeria.
Thank you, Tolu. It's always my pleasure. Appreciate it.